Okay. Are we recording? Well, I can't really explain it, but I just filmed or tried to film my Inktober, but the video failed. However, the drawing still got done, so there we go. Golden bat. I did a. There he is. Ogon bat. I don't know if I've even pronounced it correctly. Anyhow, this is page 10. Did a little bit on the main figure in this top panel. Once I do the figures, I'll have to take some time to do the scenery as well. All right, let's see if we can get his turban. And if you saw the other video, you would know that they're making their way up the mountain of Lycaon to a shrine where they've just received kind of a mysterious note promising to reveal some of Prometheus's past. So Prometheus is actually reincarnated into this body of this mortal. That's why he's Prometheus Powers and not just Prometheus. He's really just Prometheus. I mean, it's very confusing. He's an intergalactic, interdimensional explorer now. And this is his friend Abrax, who he met in the magic realm. And they've been kind of hanging out since the adventure on Pellucidar, where they found the dimensional stele that had trapped Vuku the Ifrit. Not a good guy, Vuku, but not a bad guy either. Kind of a force of nature, really. All right, now pants are striped. There's the vest. Pants are striped, so let's do the stripes. I'm relying on kind of a golden age technique for my wrinkles, which is not the best. I mean, the art in the golden age was not the greatest. But they did have the best costumes. Like, as far as, and when I say costume, not like a superhero costume, but like, men wore suits back then. Women wore hats. It was a different era. All right. Looking okay, although probably some seams. We want to make sure that we've fixed any lost outlines, which I'm sure I have plenty. All right, it's beginning. That's a beginning. Let's also draw some of this foliage. This is going to be like a scraggly bush right here. So rather than just draw bushes as sort of a scribble, I try and draw them, as if we were painting them. Which is not necessarily each individual leaf, but especially if it's foregrounded up, right in the way of everything. You should show a little bit more detail if you can. And I'm not sure I'm 100% successful in this, I will admit. With trees and bushes, you always have like a dark side and a light side. I think that's good for what it is. I mean, we don't want to draw too much attention to the bush, so I'm going to reduce some of these shadows. Just want to push the eye towards the center here. This is meant to be a nice calm panel until we get down to the bottom when something happens. And that's where we get the concept of rhythm, right? We have not just loud, loud, loud all the way through. It just becomes one tone. You need some quiet, loud, quiet, loud. Also, I want to be careful to avoid what Steve Rude was calling the camouflage effect, where you have so much detail that it just, you camouflage your main figures inside the all the other details, which we don't want to do. This is a tree up here. There's some of this sphagnum moss. Makes you want to go look at some John Severin westerns because those always had great, nature scenes. A lot of the old time golden age comics had good western scenes. I think that's one thing they really excelled at. Saw a very interesting take from, once again, Steve Rude. This is on his line weight video. And he's talking about using whiteout. And he's like, so as an example, he had some grass down under the bottom of a panel, just like we're doing right here. And they said you could use the whiteout to create, the front layer of the grass. Which I thought I'd try it out. Okay, well, I like the effect. I think it's in a weird place, but I think that was pretty good. And you can see it's kind of coming together. Need plenty of texture. But we're saving our boldest lines for these figures so that they're outlined. All right. Even when my figures aren't at their strongest, I figure like if you do okay on your outlines, on your backgrounds and stuff, you're in good shape. I did see one of the stupidest things I've ever seen about backgrounds. Really dumb pushed. But I think the guy just maybe he just didn't realize. So there's, I don't know. I don't know what we would call this. Is this a controversy where somebody, okay. Sean Gordon Murphy, extremely talented, probably one of the best, comic artists and draftsmen that we have right now. So he's going to do Kickstarter, an indie version of Zorro. Zorro's a public domain character. Well, he's not the first one to have ever done Zorro, obviously. And another guy, and I think it's Preston Acevedo, I'm not 100% sure, did like a couple of picture-by-picture comparisons saying, hey, these are the exact same poses I used. They're not swipes, though. They're really obviously not. They're shots. Like there's one page, I think it's a cover, that just shows the head of Zorro, and then another one that shows the figure isolated, jumping down, or something like that. And he's like, I don't know, shot by shot comparison. Here's the one I did 2 years ago, and then here's Sean Gordon Murphy's. Which I don't think that's a great comparison. But then somebody pulled out like the Alex Toth version. The Alex Toth version is the best version that's ever been created. It's one of the best comics that's ever been created of Zorro. Of course, nobody knows about it now because it was done over 30 years ago, over 50 years ago probably. It was done in the 60s. It was a Disney bit. Came out by Dell, but they did do a like a trade paperback version of it fairly recently. Like I would say, at least in the 2000s, sometime, and they showed the exact same shots are in there. I mean, they're just good shots. One's a big headshot, one's a guy jumping down. Zorro shown in action, and Donald Billy goes, "Yeah, Alex Toth is the goat. The greatest of all time." And then, but it came with a quote, and it just says, one of the secrets. It's an Alex Toth quote. It says one of the secrets of drawing is to take everything away that's not essential, and then draw the hell out of the rest. And it's just this isolated figure jumping down is like it's a perfect Zorro panel. And somebody's like, I hate it when people act like backgrounds aren't important. So, first of all, yeah, I do too. I mean, I think backgrounds are important, but the second thing is we're talking about Alex Toth. And occasionally you do take the background away. I mean, that's just how it is. But he's not talking about taking the backgrounds away at all in the quote. He's talking about taking away non-essential, the non-essential parts of the drawing. Like it's a philosophy of creating your panels, which I happen to agree with. And also, I'm not saying I'm good at it either. I'm just saying and that's the goal to strive for. Certainly, a lot of times I'm looking over at my stuff. I go, well, was that necessary? And I even, you draw something and you do this. One of the good things about having to do every step of the drawing is, you're constantly in sort of self-assessment mode. What's this panel for? What's this page doing? What did we learn here? Why does this panel exist? A lot of times, even on video, I'll go over and go, okay, on this page, this is what we learn here, and in this panel, this is what we learn here, and in this panel, we had to set up this thing right here, because it's an important part of the story. That's me trying to incorporate what I understand of the Toth philosophy, which is about taking away things that are non-essential and making the rest really count. And so, for example, yeah, there's a lot of scenery in here on this mountain panel. But to me, it's essential for us to understand, they're coming up a mountain. That's why the horizon line is tilted. That's why we show them. His head is turned back. They're coming up a path, We can even kind of fake a path in. And it's a wilderness. I'm hoping I'm portraying, it's giving mountain, right? That's the phrase that the kids these days use, right? It's giving this. It's giving the impression of this, I think is what that really means. To which I say, I would hope so. And by the way, as far as that Toth quote, I mean, that's not the first person I've heard that from, or the only person that I've heard that from either. And also, I don't think comic art really is all about the art. I don't think comics are about the art really. I think the art can be, good, bad, and different. It can't be bad. I think it just has to be kind of passing. I try to make it as good as I can. But does it have to be impressive on its own sake? No, it's got to support the story is what it's really got to do. Now, if you're telling a story about cool characters getting into action adventure, yeah, your art's got to really support that, and that's the tough part. And so maybe that seems a bit unfair. the most juvenile type of story that you want to tell, quote unquote, requires one of the highest levels of dedication to the craft and the artwork and the figure drawing and all the other stuff, perspective, etc. All those things are really essential. Which is why I don't really stress about it too much. I know that I'm not saying I'm good at it. What I'm saying is, it's going to take years to come. All right, I've got to still draw this monkey. Let's take a look so far. Does that look like they're coming up a mountain path? We could even do a thing where we might have some things down below. Maybe some clouds are low. Something like that. Using really thin strokes here for the far distant background. We're going to use a foreground up a tree up here to create some depth. Right? Why did you foreground that tree? To create some depth. There are people who will actually do things like, like I said, they'll draw things in 4-point perspective just to impress you, but that does not necessarily make a good comic panel, is all I'm saying. Oh, you frick. One of the other things that we're trying to do, I think this is good because it is really kind of creating some good depth here. And also, let's say if we angle the bark like this, it's almost showing like it's reaching back farther and farther away, but if we angle the bark. And that reinforces our sense of perspective in the drawing. A lot of this is like like a magician or an illusionist with cards. You're trying to create the illusion of depth. You're trying to create the illusion of, three-dimensionality. But it's a trick. At the end of the day, this is just flat. we want our readers to believe that it's our critics. Oh, I need my monkey. Where's the monkey? Feta mein Apschmonkey. Okay, well, the monkey's right in front of the tree. All right, let's. Feta mein Apschmonkey. There we are. The monkey does not look realistic at all. He's a cartoon. He's almost imaginary. Whoops. Oh no, I'm at low power. This might be a very short video indeed. Oh, we're at 25 minutes. That's not a short video at all. Oh, I'm not liking those thick lines. All right. I don't think we're going to finish this panel today, but that's fine. Where's his tail? All right, I've got to do the wings, but hey, this is kind of a believable page right now, or panel. What do you think? Once I get my speech bubbles in there, tell you what, I like this wing right where it is. But this wing starts a little too low, so let's put this wing right there. All right, we'll get to the wings next time. Please like, follow, and subscribe. There will be more comics every day. This page, the page is just now getting started, so it's feeling pretty good. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and I will talk to you later. I'm going to charge this thing up.